Denver beat Framesby, hey?
Yeah, it was. What is that? 12.
So everybody, welcome to Stotfield as we gear up for a key game on day 2 of the Standard Bank Kearsney Easter Rugby Festival. It's a great pleasure to be able to welcome you to this sunny site here. It is a chilly day here at the top of Botha's Hill. And we've just seen this intriguing game between a rampant, on-fire Selborne team taking down Pretoria Boys High. And now with a big crowd, as you always do for the home game, it's a pleasure to welcome out the team from Framesby, the guys from PE down in the Eastern Cape. In their first game of the tournament, they came up against a pretty impressive-looking Glenwood team and went down 21-10. And now there's going to be a big cheer for the local side as they come out here. They copped a big one. They came up against a very impressive Hartia Drotsdi team. And you'd be damn sure they're going to try and turn this around. So, Kearsney College up against Framesby. Bryce Foss joins me on this one. 2 teams that are lost, 2 teams that are hungry.
Absolutely, Dave, and a big home crowd coming in for the first time in the tournament's history. If I'm correct, there's no Sharks games today, so the crowd should be streaming in. Weather's playing ball, and both teams looking for a better result than day 1.
So a key game for these sides. Matusi Shuping is going to be taking charge of, and here are the teams. And what's interesting about this Kearsney team, now I'm joined by Jono Dayton, who's with us here. This is a very different looking Kearsney team because it looks like we're resting some players, and most notably out of the starting lineup goes the inspirational Dillard Richardson. Jono, how's it? Thank you for joining us.
Sure thing, Dave.
Rotational changes?
Yeah, definitely. A couple of rotational changes, and also there's no lack of leadership out there on the field. Sutherland, deputy head boy of the school, he's at 13 today, and he's leading the side out. So definitely a lot of leadership out there, and hopefully the boys can bring it back and hopefully have a better performance in their first one.
Yeah, you're close to the guys. Were they burning after losing that opener?
Yeah, definitely. I think being the home side, you always want to perform, and for the boys, it wasn't quite the result they wanted, but I watched them a bit during their warm-up, and they were out there, they were fired up, so hopefully they come out here and put on a great performance for the spectators.
Yeah, and there's a lot of pride at stake here. This is the one stripe at home on Stotfield. You don't have to inspire the guys much.
No, 100%, exactly. They're here, they fired up, they're ready, they're used to it, so let's see. Great game later.
This is going to be a cracker. Shot to Jono. We'll catch up with you later. And throughout the game, it's a kickoff from the Framesby boys. They put the ball deep just outside the 22. Kearsney are running that one out of trouble. Good managed ball. Aaron Kaiser at scrum off waiting for that's Dion Kaiser's youngster. Oh, and there's a charge down. Charge down out of Woodendale's hands. This could be trouble. Capitalized beautifully by Klein, the captain. This could be a golden opportunity, a gilt-edged chance to open the scoring for the Framesby boys. The PE guys are 1 meter out. Charge down in the opening minute of the game. And Nivo is screaming for it on the right. But they've managed to bunt that way out of trouble. And I got to say, Bryce out of jail free. That could have gone so pair in the first minute.
Out of jail on a similar mistake made by Kearsney to the first game where Sutherland was guilty of taking too long with his clearances. And Ross Taylor at lock is the one who eventually cleared the ball. But they've got to tighten things up for the remainder of the game.
So Vormerans with a put in for Framesby. It's a messy ball that goes out of the back. And Ref Matusi Shuping is having none of that. Spots the knock on. They're going to have to come back for that. Jono, I got to bounce this to you. Jacques Woodendale at 10. Talk me through the man. What sort of a head on the shoulders are we seeing there?
No, look, he's got a head on his shoulders. Fairly competent 10. So yeah, we look forward to seeing what he can do. Obviously, not the greatest start for him. But hopefully he can pick his head up and just, get back into the gameplay and back into our structure.
And while we're talking about the 9-10 axis there, Aaron Kaiser, Dion Kaiser's son?
Yeah, good quality player. He's played 1 or 2 games for seconds actually this year, so nice start for him. But definitely looking forward to just seeing how he plays. Quality distributor, so yeah, lots of power and potential there. And that's
little guy, big heart, and it's Kaiser himself who's got the ball to put in. It's a put in for Kearsney College. They're about a metre or 2 outside. They're 22. trying to get themselves out of their own bit of real estate here after that dramatic charge down in the first minute. Comes back to Odendaal. That's far more solid off the boot. He's going to feel far more comfortable about that. Lindsay Potgieter grabs that at the back. He decides he's going to do it the Framesby way, and he puts his foot to the pedal. Manages to make his way down to the halfway line. Framesby now on the attack. Ball comes back to Gerber, but referee Schupping decides that there's none of that, holding on the ground, guilty of not releasing. Kearsney had every right to get their hands on the ball there. So Kearsney with an opportunity. Penalty on the halfway line. Must kick for territory here, Bryce.
Absolutely, and it was a decent kick there, but the kick chase was just as good. And I think if they can employ that tactic and just push Framesby into their own half and indeed their home 22, then using a bit of structured play and competent first phase ball, they've definitely got a shot at putting points on early.
And that's a quality kick. It's going to take the line out right into the 22 of the PE boys. So Framesby on the defence now to put in for Kearsney. Ball going from Palsy, but Framesby managed to recycle it at the back here. Frustration, the line out not firing for Kearsney just when they need it. Opportunity for Vormerans to get the ball back. And a clearance that doesn't find touch, so an opportunity for Kearsney to counter from just inside their own half. They carry the ball over the half. Momentum with Kearsney, they're going forward. It's a good set. Quick ball for Kaiser. Past it, whizzes out, well controlled, kicking for the corner. Is this one going to find its way over the line? It's just not going where it's intended. It's going to go over the back, and frustration, but intent shown by the Kearsney side there. It's another one of these games, I suspect, where we are going to see the boys run this at every opportunity.
Absolutely, and not the worst option by Odendaal, even though the result wasn't what he would have wanted. But he's just turning the Framesby back three and not letting the Framesby back line find any sort of rhythm. And it's one way to find a few gaps into the defence is by just moving them around early on.
So this Kearsney backline retooled. We've got Brendan Albertser, who's come in at 15. James Sutherland we saw playing 15 in the first game. He's skippering this game from outside centre. And the retooling means that Reece Daniel has come in off the right wing. He's gone into inside centre. And Matthew Blair goes from centre to wing. So some rejigging to that Kearsney backline. Let's see how that functions, see how they gel. The key thing is that 9-10 axis remains the same, and Robbie Koenig stays on the left wing in the number 11 jersey. So Kaiser attacking, sniping away on his own. Manages to stay on his feet, makes 5 or 6 meters. Good quick ball. This time it's Tedder who takes over at the scrum half responsibilities. Ross Taylor waiting for the ball. This time Kaiser picks up the ball, feeds it to Sangweni. He drives forward a crucial meter or two. Kaiser waiting for the ball. They're slowing it down, are the PE boys. That's exactly what they need to do. Ball bobs out for Kaiser. He doesn't quite pick up that one. But not rolling away is the call from referee Schupping. And an opportunity for Kearsney here. And this one is within kicking range, so tactical decision coming from James Sutherland, who's taken over the captaincy responsibilities in this match from Dylan Richardson. And he's decided that 2 poles it is. Open the account. I guess that makes sense.
It does. Interestingly enough, the scrum ascendancy seems to be with Kearsney, so they might have been tempted to have gone for the kick for corner and a drive as a result. But yeah, in a tight game like this, you want to get the 3 points on the board and get an early lead.
So it's Sutherland in that number 15 jersey, skipper for the day. Left boot, very distinctive setup. Automated. Very deliberate. Takes all the time he needs. It's a key kick. It's going to open the account for the home team. Looks like he has got it in off the left hand upright. Points going the way of Kearsney College. The home team is well, that'll settle the nerves, sort of.
It's an interesting way to open your account, but you'll be a bit more relaxed after that. And for Kearsney, after some territorial gains, they would have be happy to come away with points on the board.
So first blood going the way of the hosts here in the 10th edition of the Standard Bank Kearsney Easter Rugby Festival. Kick looks like a bit of a mess. Goes into the hands of Torrin Tedder. He carries it forward. Solid looking scrum this for Kearsney. Matthew Hurd going straight through the centre of that ruck. Ball bouncing in the middle of nowhere. The good chase coming from Robbie Koenig. Doesn't bounce into the hands. Instead, Lindsay Potgieter is able to start a counter for Framesby. They run into a solid wall of crimson jerseys. No progress for Framesby. Nieuwoud feeds down the blind side. dancing down the touchline. They're going to need to keep this in. They've got numbers waiting for the second phase. A metre or so, and ball spills forward out of the Framesby hand. Advantage going to Kearsney. Ref Shooping decides that advantage doesn't accrue, so they're going to come back for the scrum.
Lindsay Porkreath letting the ball bounce in back play, which obviously no fullback should do, but he recovered well, and any sort of loose unstructured play he'll pounce on, and Kearsney will have to watch to keep an eye on him and not allow him any space moving forward.
So they put in on the 10 of Kearsney College. 7.5 minutes elapsed in the first half of this game. Really good crowd turning out here at the top of Buddha's Hill on day 2 of this festival. One of the key games here. Aaron Kaiser with the put in. Referee Shooping is asking the scrums to reset. And of course, just behind the in-goal area at the south end of the ground here at Stotfield, the Sharks Academy selectors sitting watching, trying to be inconspicuous, but every player on the field will be fully aware that the men scribbling on the notepads are the men who ultimately will be making the decision about the players that win those Sharks Academy bursaries. Kaiser now with the distribution into Odendaal. The left boot of Odendaal loops its way over the touchline, and it's a great rangefinder. Takes play halfway into the 22 of Framesby. Good, confident-looking kick from Odendaal.
Great kick and great kick chase by Kunuk. He's putting the wing and fullback of Framesby under all sorts of pressure, and it's a very good tactic considering how much heart Kearsney have there.
So the Framesby lineout needs to fire here. Vian Vormerans the hooker. They've gone for a 4-man lineout. Comes off the fingertips. Managed to get that right. And referee Shooping is going to punish them for the ball not going in straight. It's one of those things that you drill on the training ground over and over and over again, and the very least you expect in a game of this intensity is that you can at least get the technical basics right in the set piece. So the consequence is it's going to be a put in for Kearsney. They are 3 or 4 meters inside the 22 of Framesby. A conversation going on between Kaiser and Odendaal, so there's a practice ground move here. John O'Dayton, you know what's coming up?
Unfortunately not. Looking at the field though, it does look like they have quite a nice blindside to work with, so maybe exploiting that is a possibility. But
Robbie Kunig's in an attacking position on the blind side.
100%. So whatever comes of this should hopefully be interesting if Kearsney can just work that set phase and keep ball.
So reset of the scrum. Young Aaron Kaiser going to be putting that ball in for them. Kearsney got involved in a real arm wrestle with a fairly imposing-looking Hati Estrotsidi state. And there was a stage when they really had to try and retool and rejig. Managed to come back in that game, even though they lost by about 20-odd points. There was a lot of heart shown and a lot of positives extracted from that. Good-looking Kearsney scrum this time. The PE boys under pressure. This time Kaiser's got the ball into the hands of Odendaal. Switch move. Managing to make a metre or two. Ball's going to go. They're looking for quick ball now. Kaiser is harping for that ball. He wants it now. He's going right. The Framesby defence holding solid, and the smallest of knock-ons from the crimson jersey means that Framesby get a reprieve. Framesby's defence looking organised, Bryce, and they'll take a lot of encouragement from that. They're going to need that to hold out for 60 minutes.
It is. They would have been disappointed from the first phase to start with in terms of the scrums and lineouts, but the defence is showing a lot of guts there, not making anything easy for Kearsney, and the home team are going to have to really work hard to penetrate their defensive line.
So the put in for Framesby. It's been a needle encounter. We've had 10 minutes gone in this first half. A solitary penalty giving Kearsney the smallest of leads. Framesby scrum once again under pressure. Kearsney will take heart from that. They'll certainly bank that. Looping, chancy pass that actually goes forward, and it comes off a knock-on. Referee's looking for advantage. Kearsney are desperate to take full advantage of that. Great sniping run down the right-hand touchline. Can they get sick ball? Kaiser gets it. Whips it back into the hands of Ross Taylor, who doesn't quite take it. Fortunately, the ball doesn't go back. It's still in Kearsney's hands. They can continue their advance into the 22. Good hands in the Kearsney backline, and they've gone and set Robbie Kunuk free. Kunuk is just outside the 22. Jacques Odendaal doing the covering into the big hands of Ross Taylor. The big men crashing the ball forward. This time it's Sibu Sangweni taking the ball into the 22 of Framesby. Ominous looking signs here. Kearsney looking like they run with intention. Here goes James Sutherland. James Sutherland has got space. James Sutherland is in. It's try time.
Fantastic try by James Sutherland. Put that down to the speed of the pass. Just cut out 3 defenders potentially from the Framesby line. And Sutherland goes in the corner and is about to hopefully convert his own try.
Magic stuff. I mean, watch this again. And this is the consequence of a gradual build-up that ground down the defense of the Framesby boys. And special to watch because it's the slow poison. Yeah, the pressure sucking the players into the breakdown. Kaiser looks right and then looks left. It's a good looping part into Oudendaal's hands. Oudendal looks for this great bit of vision from Oudendal. He effectively put Sutherland into the space there. And Sutherland, all he had to do was finish. The corner flag was all that was beckoning right now. And a great finish for the skipper on the day. And great teamwork. It's the key axes are working really well for Kearsney.
Absolutely. The players in key positions and the experienced players are stepping up. They would have learnt their lesson from day one, and they're playing the type of rugby that Kearsney supporters love to see.
And there's a real buzz around Stotfield as the Kearsney faithful realise that they could be in for a special 60 minutes from their team here. James Sutherland now to try and convert his own try. He's almost on the touchline. The wind is swirling. It's a good-looking conversion. Bing! On target. When it's your day, it's your day.
Absolutely, and with a bit of confidence, these things tend to go for you. What will be important now is to see how both teams react. You know, will Framesby come back fighting, or will Kearsney, realising they have a bit of momentum, push the ball back into the territory of Framesby and get another score?
Jono, I'm going to bounce it to you. Kearsney's build-up in the pre-season, what have they been through? How important is this tournament in terms of their build-up to the domestic season?
No, definitely. There's a lot of importance placed on this tournament. The boys have been working hard since last year even. I mean, a bit of pre-season coming in and the boys working, getting fit, getting structure. So yeah, vital importance. And then these warm-up games, I mean, no game is ever easy. So lacking for the boys to get in there and get toughened up before the domestic season begins.
Cyrus Nevote starting the counter, continued by the skipper Julian Klein. They're making good headway into the Kearsney territory. 4th phase now. And again, good progress being made. Organised defence from the Kearsney boys. You heard Jono talking about how long the pre-season preparation has been. Speculative kick forward does not work out as planned. In fact, it's exceeded the opportunity to Kearsney. They've got numbers. They had numbers outside. They've gone for the kick downfield. I suspect if he had a chance to replay that, he would have hung on to it and spread it. But it's back in the hands of Lindsay Portheader at the back. Counter time. Here he goes. Fires the afterburners. Gets brought down a metre from the touchline. Sutherland realises he's offside. Walks out of any position where he can interfere with play. And the Framesby boys continue their march downfield, almost into Kearsney territory. Confident looking. Gerber to Van Rensburg. Ball bobbling through backline play. Ditlow having to try and salvage what was a bit of a man. There's an opportunity to counter. The ball flies out the back and into the path of Robbie Koenig. Koenig is going, picks it up, and goes over. World-class effort from Robbie Koenig.
Well, when it's your day, Kearsney Framesby had a massive overlap there. The ball seemed to bounce for Koenig. He had a lot of work to do, and with some fancy footwork managed to get over for the score.
And don't for a second underestimate how difficult that is to do at flat-out speed. Ball's running away from you. You'd like it to sit up into your hands, but it didn't. It actually lay down and roll away from him. Robbie Koenig kept his head. And watch us on the replay here because he played it beautifully. Kicked it out of the feet. It was a really sloppy piece of tidying up from the Framesby boys. Koenig from the left boot first and then the right boot. The ball running away from him, goes down low, picks it up, and he knows that's a beautiful finish for Robbie Koenig. And it could be a tide turner for the Kearsney boys because they've now earned a substantial amount of space on the scoreboard between themselves and the boys from PE. So Sutherland now with his left boot off a shortened runner, just needs to chisel this one over to extend that lead out to 17-0. Silla's composed and structured, albeit with a truncated run up. Neatly over into the grandstands at the back. Kearsney all smiles now.
They are, and look, if Framesby do their homework, they will see that Kearsney are committing a lot of players to the breakdown, and that's something that Framesby may look to take advantage of on the on the outside with mismatches and 2 and 3 on ones. But Kearsney picking up on scrappy play and converting.
So the restart, and a great restart to go straight into the hands of Grayson Ditlow. Now, if the PE boys wanted to turn this game around, they're going to have to start here and start now. Cyrus Nivot encouraging his players forward. They've got big men to try and take it up as they set up the second phase. More big men waiting in the line. This time it goes straight into Rian van Rensburg's hands. He carries it up. Ball is quickly set up and available for the Framesby men. Goes down the back to 8th man Christo Grobler, who carries it forward. But again, the Kearsney defense is robust. And Kearsney are going to earn the penalty. Christo Grobler carrying that ball in, goes down onto his knees, has to release it. Kearsney with every right to that ball, and Framesby conceding possession just when they looked like they were about to see some of that momentum and initiative back from Kearsney. It's Kearsney driving them back into their own half.
Absolutely, and I criticise Kearsney a bit for employing a lot of men at the breakdown, but if you do it and you do it properly, that's the result. Turnover, penalty ball.
John, I've heaped a lot of praise on the structure in the Kearsney defence. It's obviously something that's a key part of the pre-season.
Definitely. I think we pride ourselves in our defence. Kearsney College, they work hard. Obviously, defence is something that wins games. So for the boys, it's something that they need to focus on. And as stated earlier, if it's done effectively, it can be worked into almost a form of attack as well.
Well, Kearsney are playing like the wind is in their sails right now. Kaiser Oertendal, they're running at every opportunity. Crucially, you can see they're running into gaps now, looking to exploit weaknesses. Kaiser with a long pass back. Here's a drop goal from just inside his half. It's going to go just left of the upright and was just a little bit short of distance. But if we're looking for flair and adventure, trying to bang a drop goal from the halfway line is a big call from the man. And, well, the crowd would have been singing his praises for months afterwards if he'd got that over. I think they're in enough control of this game to warrant charging at it and keeping it in hand. It certainly wasn't as if it was going to be a match winner. But then schoolboy video clips will be remembered for years afterwards. If you get one over from the halfway line or put a penalty over from the 60, it gets replayed all around the world.
Absolutely, a bit of glory there, and not the worst decisions, seeing as they'll get the ball back here. But they seem to have Framesby under the cosh, so maybe better options to keep it in hand.
So Rian van Rensburg, who really hasn't seen much of the ball at all in the opening 20 minutes of this game, puts the ball back into Kearsney's hands. Matt Blair running the ball down. Manages to get through 1 tackle, 2 tackle. Kearsney in control. They're 5 or 6 meters out from the 22 of Framesby. And they're going to come back for the knock-on by the Kearsney boys. Framesby looking a little like deer caught in the headlights at this stage. Kearsney have been doing all the running. And time now for the senior voices to be heard in that Framesby lineup. We certainly saw in that opening encounter where they were able to front up to that Harties Drotsdi team that they at least up to the Glenwood Green Machine, which is looking very ominous on the day, but they certainly made a contest out of that, and there's every reason to believe that they can fight their way back into this.
Absolutely, and they'd looked to Rian van Rensburg at fly half to show some leadership. He's ran a few good lines, but he's just looking for players around him to assist him and run off his shoulder, and it just hasn't been apparent to date.
Andre Gerber feeds van Rensburg, trying to make the hard yards through the middle. And the referee's going to come back for a penalty now to the Framesby boys, adjudicating that there's some pulling down going on in the front row of the scrum. The dark arts of the front row.
There's no need for it really from Kearsney's side. They've got the ascendancy, and to give away those sort of penalties, just allowing Framesby to work their way down the field and possibly back into the game.
Good kick into the prevailing wind here from van Rensburg. And Framesby have an opportunity to attack. Less than 10 minutes to go to half-time in this game. They are still to open their account. They set the line out. It's aimed at the big Barry Flock. He doesn't manage to regain it. It's Kearsney instead who come back on the counter. So another missed opportunity in the set piece for Framesby. But Framesby are going to earn a penalty for that. Kearsney not releasing on the ground. Player getting isolated. And his supporters slow to the breakdown. So it's an opportunity now for the boot of van Rensburg potentially to either earn territory to set up an attacking line-out, which is what they've decided to do. The booming left boot doesn't quite get the purchase on that, flies up into the stand, but they are going to set up for the line-out about 4 or 5 meters out. Andre Gerber was one of their key playmakers in the open day in that match against Glenwood. Real live wire, but I sense the Framesby pack is not getting as much go-forward ball as they did in that first game. And he's been under a little bit of pressure. So let's see if we can get the line out to function. And it's another botched line out by the Framesby boys. Kearsney with an opportunity to work the way. But Framesby turned that ball back. Carry the ball forward. Another big crunching tackle. Kearsney's defence once again ticking the boxes into the hands of Rian van Rensburg. Van Rensburg spreads it down his back line. Portkeder looking to link up with Ditlow. Getting sandwiched in. Player was not held on the ground, so he's entitled to play the ball as he did. Referee Schupping watching that very closely. Back into the hands of Nivot. Oh, he scythed down in the midfield. Crunching tackle there from Sangweni.
Huge
and
hit
it
from
creates the knock-on. Jono, I'm going to bounce this back to you. Sibu Sangweni, talk me through the man. He's up for the big hit.
No, it definitely is. He has a bit of a reputation of being one of those guys that is a go-to guy in the defence, and he's going to make the hits, and he's there for that exact reason. He loves to line people up. He loves to put people down. So awesome from him. And yeah, definitely it's evident there on the field. So well done.
Loves his game. Give me a read him off the field. What's he like?
Off the field, lovely guy.
Yeah, he looks it.
Exactly. Smiling all the time, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, probably be first to shake the hands of the man that he's scythed down like a felled blue gum tree. But it's a put in for Kearsney College. 7 minutes to go to the turn. Aaron Kaiser with a put in. Scrum looking solid. Oh, rumbling them. There's a tight head, but they're just about pushing them off the tight head. That's really fired up the Kearsney forwards. They're going to hate conceding that tight head, and they almost pulled it back. But it's back into the hands of Van Rensburg. Chips over. Tries to do it on his own. There's nobody running with him. Doesn't manage to recycle it. The ball's going to come back on the Kearsney side. No. Referee Schupping's having none of that. He's going to decide a penalty Framesby way.
Yeah, might have been a bit off the ball.
Correct that. That's going to be a penalty Kearsney's way. And it's the big boot of Jacques Oudendal. Soars all its way down into the stands. And referee Schupping is calling him back there. Interpret the decision and win a prize.
A bit of frustration there from Rian van Rensburg. He just gave the Kearsney defender a bit of a push when he couldn't get through to collect his chip kick there.
You see, and Jacques Oudendal will tell referee Schupping that the previous kick actually won him 20 metres more, so he'll go back and take that. Thank you very much.
It did be a bit disappointed, but about 10 metres off from the official mark.
So they're on the 10 of Framesby as they set up for the attacking line-out. Tane Polsey, who got the starting line-up berth in the hooker today. Kaiser gets caught in possession. It's a bit of a mess for Kearsney. It was there put in. Messy from them. And it looks like it might be a Framesby turnover. Kearsney forwards are going in to try and get it, but it is Framesby here on the attack. Big Rika Smith trying to carry that ball forward for Framesby. Kearsney driving them backward, but it's still the PE boys in possession. Ball is slow in coming out. And Kearsney have won the turnover. Kaiser feeds it back to Oudendal. Oudendal on his own, looks for the long pass, loops it all the way out to Robbie Koenig. Can this be a double for Koenig? Koenig comes up with a speculative back pass, realizes at the last minute there's nobody there, but he can't withdraw that. Ball floats out. And full of running, Robbie Koenig is looking like a lethal man to put into space.
Absolutely, and a great line run by Jacques Oudendal, putting Koenig away, and Koenig perhaps looking for Sutherland to come around on the switch. Just didn't read each other's minds there, but it's end result is a good one for Kearsney, particularly considering how they've been dominating the line-out.
Well, Sutherland looked like he was going to come out on the outside and then came off the left foot, but by that stage Koenig had teed up the ball in the back of the hand and was in the process of floating it out. He did try and suck it back in, but it floated out and effectively went forward. So referee Schupping decides that it's going to be a Framesby put in. The Framesby scrum has been under pressure. They're going to want to get this one right. They're going to need a big effort from their pack because they don't want to start conceding a tight head or leaving young Andre Gerber with a messy ball going backwards. The Framesby scrum is looking solid. And referee Schupping is going to award them the technical penalty for not binding. And an opportunity for the booming left boot of Rian van Rensburg to earn them a bit of a reprieve. 3.5 minutes to go until the half. And I guess 17-0, a fair reflection on this game as it stands. The Kearsney boys certainly with their tails up.
Absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see how
Could it-
Framesby in the half here. They'll look to get something out of it. For Kearsney, they've just want to stay in this part of the field for the last few minutes.
Robbie Koenig trying to keep that ball in play. But it's going to be a Framesby put-in. Jan Vormerans with a put-in. They go long and they've butchered it again. There creaks and groans to this Framesby set piece. Opportunity for Kearsney to counter, but this is a mess. The ball is bobbling around like a ping pong ball in a washing machine. Eventually an opportunity for Kearsney to try and consolidate and attack as they get away through Brendan Alberts, I think it is. Kaiser now. Feeds to the big frame of Ross Hurd. He carries it forward. Boom! Thanks for coming. Big work from the Kearsney forwards. Tails are right up now. They're making the hard yards and they're also giving go forward ball to Kaiser. He goes down the right.
Isolated.
Framesby going over the top. Looking for an advantage there. Referee Shooping decides he'll have none of that. So referee Shooping with the stern control on this game. Kearsney said after the last game, Dylan Richardson said that discipline was going to have to be something that was going to be top of their priorities for the duration of this tournament, and that it was something that had possibly let them down a little. They've certainly brushed that up. They've been tight. The handling has been good, but crucially, the discipline, certainly for the first 28 minutes, has been solid.
Absolutely, there's a way to play the game and be physical and show authority, but still within the laws, and also just to execute correctly and the way you plan to ensure that the technical penalties don't count against you on the day.
So less than 2 minutes to go, and an opportunity for Jacques Oudendal to go through this robotic build-up to another kick at poles. See if he can stretch that lead out to 20 as they zoom in on the half-time hooter.
We can expect a chase from Kunuk here. He seems to be lining it up.
There he goes. Right arm forward. Jacques Oudendal's been kicking beautifully today. This is a long one. He's got the full purchase on it. And the flags are up. That's a super effort from Rob Oudendal. From Jacques Oudendal. Correction, that's James Sutherland, the left boot of James Sutherland.
Kearsney will be happy with that. It's an opportunity to just further extend the lead. Psychologically, looking at 19 points, it's almost 4 tries the difference between the two teams.
So, with less than a minute to go, restart from Hoërskool Framesby. Kearsney challenging strongly, and they might have won this ball. They have indeed. Aaron Kaiser waiting for that ball. Almost winding the clock down. They're going to carry it up again amongst the forwards. Torrenteda over the ball. Pick and grind once again. Sangweni very strong. He's had a great game.
He is, and still only 16 years old.
A big frame for a 16-year-old. I'm sure the scouts have picked that up. Aaron Kaiser. Aaron Kaiser with that distinctive little heel into the ground setup that we've come to see from some of the senior players at Super Rugby level.
Aaron Kaiser every bit the scrum off, and a speculative shot at goal here with the time up. Not the worst option, but you'll expect a decent chase from his species on the outside.
So he's got the wind behind him this time. Yesterday this would have been into the teeth of the wind. He's got a little bit of wind behind him, but it is still over 60 meters. This is probably a 62-meter shot. What are the odds on this? What are the odds on this carrying all the way over the crossbar?
He's going to have to keep it low, that's for sure. He's going for a bit of a James Hall effort here.
Same setup, same routine. It's going to wind up that elastic. There's a hush around Stotfield here. Super long range effort from James Sutherland. Boom, he's not going to be anywhere close. He really was putting too much into that. And it's an opportunity for Framesby with time elapsed in this first half to try and run themselves out. That needed to go to hand. They've conceded possession to Kearsney. The Kearsney pack sets it up. Kaiser's looking for it. Could be a drop
goal.
opportunity here. It's the left boot from Odendaal. That's not going to go either. It's going to go right and over the dead ball line, and that's going to take us to the end of the first half. John O'Dayton, the boys will be pleased with that. They needed to bounce back after that opening game, and that's gone according to plan.
I think definitely, yeah. They'll be pleased with the 20-point buffer, but rugby's a game of two halves, and I think they need to come out here firing. Playing 0-0 is a new half, and these boys from Framesby will definitely come out firing in the second half.
Well, time for the players to take a breather. Let's see if Framesby can rejig, retool, re-energize themselves. Cool. All right. Yeah, it's good. Thank you.
Supper time.
I thought this was a day-night game.
Nah, it's T20.
Where there's a will, there's cricket. Proud sponsor of the Proteas. Standard Bank, moving forward.
So rugby fans, welcome back to Start Field for the second half of this key game on Saturday, day 2 of the Standard Bank Kearsney Easter Rugby Festival 2017, the 10th edition of a tournament that when it started out here 10 years ago had high hopes, and a decade later is now well established as one of the premier Easter schools rugby tournaments, and a lot of interest. This live streaming being picked up, as we saw from Thursday, being picked up all over the world. And it's a real buzz to see that there's that interest in schoolboy rugby, and that the Kearsney Festival has really got to a place now, Bryce, where it is a premium event.
Absolutely. There's always been competition from the Johannesburg festivals, but as people stream in here, consistently, it's clear that it's up there as one of the better festivals around to spot talent and enjoy some running rugby.
So a special first half from Kearsney. They go into the second stanza leading by 20-0. The kickoff goes deep into the Framesby half, into the hands of Keanu Duplessis, who we've hardly seen in this game. The ball has not gone wide for the Framesby backs. I'm sure that's going to be part of the master plan to get themselves back into the game. The ball goes out into touch about 5 or 6 metres outside of the Framesby 22. Kearsney put in. And it's Tane Polsey with the put in. He's had the starting berth for the Kearsney hooker today. Great take at the back. They have almost time to burn as they go charging forward through Ross Taylor. Takes the ball right up to the Framesby 22. Aaron Kaiser looking for the ball. They decide to leave it to the forwards to charge up. The big freight of Matthew Hurd takes it in. Aaron Kaiser looking for the quick ball. It's not coming. It does eventually come back into the hands of their 10, Jacques Oudendal. Ball goes down. Numbers stacking up to the right now for Kearsney. They're definitely looking for an opportunity. They've got the overlap. They're going to get the penalty here. Kaiser would have swapped that for a quick ball any day of the week. Things are looking ominous down the right-hand side for Kearsney. But not rolling away. James Sutherland with the ball in hand. Strange decision. He's told referee that he's going to be kicking for poles at this stage. They're leading by 20. And perhaps an opportunity for his troops to catch their breath. Only a minute into the half. But he is going to put it on the tee and see if he can take 20-23.
I think the idea is just to take the easy points when they're on offer and just continue to build ascendancy and look towards to the last quarter to really turn the screws.
Yeah, Bryce, it's tournament management as well. You need to plan your campaign over 3 big games in 5 days. And they've probably done enough to win this game from here. So they would just want to consolidate on that rather than produce any fireworks at this stage. Bar the fact that you've got a home crowd that really wants to see something special.
Absolutely.
So, Sutherland to add another 3 to the tally. Does that comfortably and competently. 23-0. Kearsney holding all the cards over Framesby. Desmick Kleinboy heading in to join the pack and looking to assert himself.
He was very impressive on day one as a ball carrier, and he's definitely adds a different dimension that Framesby will need to just challenge this Kearsney pack that's been dominant so far.
Oudendal, lucky to see that one go out. It goes straight through Framesby hands. In fact, the AR has adjudicated that it's going to be a Framesby put in there. So fortunate to get away with that. So Framesby looking to get some solid ball out of the set piece here. And again, the Framesby line out disappoints. Knock on, a bit scrappy at the start of the half.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Williamson's
the
sorry.
Framesby line-up misfiring, but the little knock-on from Kearsney returning possession to Framesby.
Absolutely. Williamson will be disappointed with that. He had big eyes there when he saw the gap present itself, but just got ahead of himself, and Framesby from a strong attacking position will look to attack with a new pivot on board here in number 22, Monterey Potgieter.
Cyrus Nieuwoud with the ball in hand. Potgieter with the plan. Nieuwoud drops back. Plan doesn't quite come to fruition, but Nieuwoud now finds his hooker, carries it up, wiggles through the tackle. Positive go forward ball. Good show of intent from the Framesby boys. Ball is slow in coming out. Does eventually come out into the hands of Whittock. He carries it forward, sets it. They've got men out wide with big guys ready to make the hard yards, and eventually referee Schupping decides that he's holding the ball on the ground. And that's going to surrender possession to the Kearsney boys. So the general-like boot of Jacques Oudendal to try and get the ball back into the PE side's half of the field. chilly day here at Kearsney College. It's not going to find touch. It's well short of its touch. Goes straight into the hands of Potgieter. And Framesby were frustrated. They've surrendered possession here. Can Kearsney capitalize on this? They're just inside the Framesby 22. Kaiser looking for the ball. Finds it. Finds Odendaal. Odendaal in turn finds Daniel. Flicks the ball out to Alberts. Good progress from Kearsney here. They're looking menacing. Great pass from Kaiser. There are gaps here. Ball is carried up to 15 meters out there. Plum in the middle of the field. Kaiser surveys his options left and right. Likes what he sees right. Reese Daniel takes it up on the right. Into the hands of Alberts. Opportunities here. Matt Blair. He's 3 meters out as he goes down. Kaiser's shouting for the quick ball. Numbers are stacking up for Kearsney. He's giving it to the big guys to carry forward. Ross Taylor carries it on. He's now 4 meters out. Opportunities left and right here. Kaiser's looking right, but the ball is being stifled on the ground. Eventually decides to go left as James Sutherland comes charging in. He gets brought down 4 meters out. No progress being made by Kearsney. And Kearsney are going to surrender possession, so that's a psychological victory for Framesby.
Absolutely, and Kearsney a bit unsure of what to do there. They had a few pick and goes, but on the left-hand side, they just had no backline to speak of. And they'll be looking for a bit more structure moving forward, regardless of the score.
Tough guys from Framesby. You know you're going to get a lot of heart. They're not going to give up certainly till the last whistle. And that defence was largely physical. Ball doesn't go out. Framesby chase is good, but it is still Kearsney ball. They managed to recycle it. They're about 5 meters in from the open stand touchline. Look down the blind side. Good option being taken by Ross Taylor. Gets pulled down by the Framesby defence. Now it's Kaiser looking for the ball. Feeds to Odendaal. Odendaal loops out the long pass to Daniel. Chips it across into space. Surrendered. Attractive. Ooh, almost bobbled out of the fingers there, but the dot down, so they're going to come back for the 22. Good options available to Kearsney there. I don't know if the long kick was the best of them.
Bit of a strange decision. I think he might have seen a few defenders gaining ground on him and a bit unsure of what to do.
So the boot of Monray Potgieter puts Kearsney back in possession. They're 5 meters outside of their 22. Looking for options left and right. Great jinking run. Looking to link up with his forwards. Reese Daniel manages to take the ball up 4 or 5 meters. Kaiser waits for the ball. Finds Odendaal. They've got big men ready to take it up. Once again, there's offensive defense from the Framesby men, but the ball does come back on the Certainly side. A chip through. Is this going to bounce handily? Towed on again. Oh, this looks like deja vu from the first half. It's James Sutherland again. Can he do it? Can he finish it? Oh, he just doesn't bounce to hand. Wow, we heaped the praise on the man for picking it up off his toenails when he scored that try in the first half, and it looked like it was going to be a carbon copy. It's so difficult to pick it up when it's running away from you like that. And just doesn't come good.
Absolutely, to be balancing your footwork and running at that speed and then trying to pick the ball up, it's a lot to ask at once. But he did very well considering where the move started and where Kearsney find themselves now.
Now big moment in the game because Dylan Richardson, who's the skipper of this team, normally comes on. Rotational move to rest him, but the big eighth man is coming back on, so he will resume the captaincy, I'm pretty sure. James Sutherland has played out of his boots today as the captain, but an ominous moment as young Aaron Kaiser also comes off the field. He needs a big round of applause. He's played beautifully today.
Absolutely, he's marshaled things well. Kearsney have got the ascendancy up front, and he's been able to act as a great link between a forward-moving pack and a backline that's been far more structured and organised than day one.
So, Jono, that's going to bring, I guess, Tane Muirhead back into pivot.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm sure he'll be utilised there. Just going also to Richardson, he's a ominous character, especially with running the ball. But as we've seen, Kearsney's been committing quite a few numbers to that ruck, and I'm sure we're going to see him getting in there, getting quite nuggety, ferreting in there, and trying to steal some ball, get hands on there, and get a turnover for the buggers. So,
What's he like as the skipper of the team? How much of a talisman is he?
I know. Look, he leads from the front. He leads by example, and he throws himself around there, never afraid to put his body on the line. It helps when you're that size, but definitely he's one that leads the side well, and it'll be interesting to see the dynamic now with him coming back on, keeping the captaincy and keeping the boys moving forward.
What's he like around the school? Obviously, being first team captain is a big responsibility, but as a gent around the school?
No, 100%, definitely. I mean, being first team captain is a massive honour and a privilege. He's also a prefect in Pembroke House, and so there's a lot of respect for him. And he leads, as he said, leads from the front. He does it on the field. He does it in the school. He's a great example for the younger boys, and they really look up to him.
Good stuff. 19 minutes remaining in this clash. Kearsney holding all the cards, and they've been full value for their 23-0 lead. So Framesby under pressure now because they're down to 14. That the yellow has come out again, a dangerous tackle. It's been the story of the season, hasn't it? The dangerous tackle and the consequences that it can have on a team. And Framesby can scarcely afford to go down to 14. So message to the boys will be simple. You're going to have to dig extra deep. I'm going to need an extra 20% from every one of you.
Absolutely, and JP Kraling was a critical part of Framesby's success in day one. When they put Glenwood under a lot of pressure from the midfield. But for Framesby, it's a time to come together as a tight unit, especially when you're one man down. They're really going to have to do something special and defend for each other.
So Cyrus Nieuwoud, the scrum half for Framesby, with a put in. They're 8 meters inside their own half of the field. Monray Potgieter waiting at 10, but they've got a move lined up down the blind side. Adventurous play from Framesby. I like it a lot. Lindsay Potgieter looking for space. It's a speculative chip forward. The chase is good. Manages to catch Richardson in possession. Good intent from the Framesby boys. They've managed to drive Kearsney back onto their own 22, but it's Kearsney in possession. Exit strategy is a box kick from the scrum half. There's no real meaningful chase from Kearsney. Goes back into Keanu Duplessis' hands. He wiggles his way through one tackle, wiggles his way through 2 and 3. Rolls forward to give the meaningful go-forward ball to the Framesby pack. Flicks the ball out to Kleinboy. Desmond Kleinboy, somebody whose physicality is a key asset to them, and he's won them a penalty. So Framesby now, with almost 12 minutes gone in the second half. And if they are going to try and assert themselves in this game in any way, they've got to kick down to the corner and try and set up from the line out.
Absolutely, but just in general play, I'd like to see Lindsay Potgieter and Keanu Duplessis get more involved in the game. There's always seems to be something happening when they're around the ball, and I'd like to see perhaps Potgieter break the line a bit more, run on the inside shoulder of his midfield. He seems to put Kearsney under real pressure when he gets the ball.
So great opportunity. Framesby's line out misfires again. Great opportunity that's gone a begging. It's instead surrendered possession to Kearsney, and they have run their way out of their own 22. Framesby with a chance to consolidate as Lindsay Potgieter now tries to jink left and right, feeds inside. They're going to try and run themselves into a scoring opportunity. They've surrendered the penalty and get out of jail free. The intent from Framesby is clear. I mean, they're going to try and keep the ball in hand and create those try-scoring opportunities. They know they've got the flair and enterprise out wide, but it must be said that we've seen so little of Dwayne Hanekom and Keanu Duplessis, as you mentioned, and those guys need space and opportunity. It's their best chance of putting points on the board.
Absolutely, and as much of a stereotype as it is,
foot in touch.
You've got to win the battle up front, and Kearsney, possibly after some feedback from Barnstein, have really stepped up today in comparison to day one.
So Kearsney with an opportunity now to mount an attack. They've got the put in at the line out 11 metres into the Framesby half of the field. And again the line out is a misfire and surrenders possession to Framesby. It'll be frustrating for Kearsney, but Framesby now in possession. Goes back to Nieuwoud. Nieuwoud fires down the open side. They're going to try and run this ball out of their half of the field. Nieuwoud looking for the ball. Andre Gerber. Gerber looking to take charge of this game. It's making a lot of the big decisions. Barry Flock runs it on a couple of metres. Gerber's a live wire for this Framesby team. He's critical to them. Just looks to be taking the right decisions now, and they have some more purpose. Lindsay Potgieter down the open side. And there's a gap. Off they go. This could be the gap that they needed. It's Dwayne Hanekom. He's on his own, looks for help. Feeds on the inside. The pass couldn't thread through all the Kearsney defenders, and it's Kearsney that manages to turn it around. Really enterprising play from from the Framesby boys, but they can't convert it into meaningful pressure. Ball is punted downfield, back into the Framesby hand. Run it is what they've planned to do, and run it is what they're going to do. They take the ball to just over the half, into the Kearsney half of the field. Andre Gerber holds the ball up just long enough to create some doubt in the Kearsney defence. This is good go-forward ball for Framesby. Let's see if they can make it count. Gerber once again takes it down the blind side. Finds Kleinboy. He's also been dominant. Great run down the touchline by Hanekom. Hanekom gets pulled down over the touchline. But they're going to come back for a penalty here. And suddenly there's a bit of momentum shifting to Framesby's way. They've got to kick this one for the corner and make it count.
Absolutely. Key players are turning up for Framesby now. Guys like Andre Gerber at scrum half. And it's just those little sniping runs to draw some defenders and create some doubts is what you need to release some men on the outside.
So a momentum shift clearly evident in the game at this stage, as Framesby will be looking now to try and secure their most reliable line-out ball. So who do they go to? They've got Alex Palm lining up in the line-out, big tall man. And it's Palm they go to. The palm tree does not deliver for Framesby. In fact, it's a knock-on. It's a little bit messy. The referee's going to call him back for the knock-on. I guess if your surname's Palm, you're going to be tall. You're going to be picked at lock.
Absolutely. You're not going to find him at scrum half.
So Framesby have got time to assert themselves here. There's just less than 15 minutes to go in the game, and they'll be frustrated that they'll be behind, but they'll be even more frustrated that they haven't been able to open their account because they're better than that.
Absolutely, and it's a scoreboard aside, I think they're going to be incredibly frustrated with the execution. A lot of times where they've made errors on their own part rather than Kearsney forcing the errors, and it's something that their coach will drill into them at the video session.
So Potgieter in the fly half slot, lining up his opposite number. Kearsney creating the moves, looping it out wide, and a long, ill-advised pass looping over all of the outside backs and into touch. And from what looked like an enterprising overlap opportunity for Kearsney, all of a sudden we have a Framesby opportunity. Framesby setting up for the put-in. They are halfway between the 22 and the try line of Kearsney College. They're setting up on a two-man line out here, with Big Barry Flock standing in the scrum half slot. And once again, they can't secure tidy possession, but they do have possession nonetheless. It comes back into the hands of the skipper, Julian Klein. He carries the ball up there, 10 out from the Kearsney try line. Gerber tries to make the break on his own. Ball just wiggles out of his finger. And referee Shooping is having none of that. It was a knock-on initially. Kearsney guilty of not releasing the ball. Framesby with an opportunity. The big men are driving it forward. They're on the line. Are they over the line? Shooping is having a look. He's going to have them back. They were not back 10. Tap and go from Gerber. He's been the live wire that's been responsible for all of the real initiative from this Framesby team. Now looks to his hooker. Hooker is well marked, so he goes it alone, coughs up the ball as he goes forward. Frustration once again, but the intent is there. It's just those last little passes that are not counting.
Absolutely, and from the Kearsney side, what Borenstein will be particularly worried about for the remainder of this game is that, you know, the results aside and the scoreline aside, they want to keep their discipline and keep their structures and not play too loose. You know, they've still got a standard that they've set that they need to follow for the remainder of the game.
John, this will be frustrating for the Kearsney guys. They've brought on the big guns and they've gone quiet.
Yeah, no, I think definitely that could be seen as a bit of a problem. It's up to those big guns to stand up and actually play. But as mentioned earlier, I think definitely the guys are going to want to keep the structure. After their first performance, we want to play our game. We want to do what we do best. And I think playing 5 meters from our own try line isn't necessarily that.
Talk to me about Torrin Tedder at 5. He's been instrumental throughout. There's some legacy there with the family.
No, definitely. Tedder is a name that has echoed through these Kearsney halls for quite some time. Tristan Tedder, his older brother, playing at the moment in France. I had the honor of playing with him in my time here. So definitely it's a name that has been said on this rugby field more than once.
Jan Wolmerans with a put-in for Framesby. And again, the Framesby line-out misfires, coughing up possession. Dylan Richardson doesn't need a second invitation. He snaffles up the ball on the back and goes grinding forward. But the referee Shooping says that Richardson was being held and should have released that, so he surrendered the penalty. Tap and go from the Framesby boys. There's 10 minutes remaining and they still haven't opened their account, and that'll really leave them smarting. Gerber feeds it inside to his hooker Vormerans. Tap and go, another penalty now, and they're not going back 10. Referee Shooping is going to give them a little lecture and a march. Vormerans thinks twice about it, hands the ball back to Gerber. See if they've got a set move planned here. Andre Gerber's got a great drag. Oh, what a monster tackle. Vormerans goes back. It's like hit like a Mack truck collision. Gerber looks inside, finds Kleinboy. He's been big, he's been physical. Great in contact. Gerber getting caught in possession. Referee Shooping says that's all good, it's all legal. Gerber's a tough young man. Goes to ground, recycles the possession. Ball comes back now to Potgieter. He's looking for opportunities down the right-hand side for Framesby. What sort of magic can they conjure up here in the last 10? It's going to be a face saver for them if they can put points on the board, because they have yet to open that account. Gerber looks down the blind side. He's going it alone. He's on his own. Can he snipe through? Goes up in the tackle, basketball style. Tries to whip that ball out through the back of his hand. They have managed to retain possession. Looking to plough through the centre of that Kearsney pack. That was ill-advised because they are literally a crimson brick wall. Ball going back to Moffat. Moffat makes no progress through that crimson brick wall. They're going backward. Still back with Framesby. Framesby now putting it back through the back line. Potgieter. Can Potgieter make the hard yards? Klein, the captain, getting closer. They're 6 meters out. They look for quick ball. Gerber feeds it down the back line now. Just no progress being made by the Framesby back. Very patient, very disciplined defence from Kearsney, and it's paying dividends for them. Into the big frame of Whittock. He makes 1 meter, but he's being held up here. Does eventually go to ground. Gerber looking right. Finds big Jonathan Carter. Carter goes down like a sack of potatoes. Gerber, who wants it now? These boys must be really tired, but they're not giving up. Jan Vormerans goes down, coughs up possession. Picked up on the ground very neatly by Baines. Salvages possession for Kearsney. Looks like the turnover is going to be completed. Taking their time. Back onto the left boot. And that's going to find some relief but not touch. Into the hands of Lindsay Potgieter. Framesby have got one thing in mind. They're going to run it. Ploughing through goes Brendan Alberts. And not a good looking sight here as Lindsay Potgieter looking very uncomfortable on the ground, and quite rightly referee Shooping decides game's got to stop for that. Then the players looking seriously uncomfortable. You're going to put the whole thing on ice and get the medics on the field.
Absolutely. I don't know if it was a head clash there, but he seems to be down and very uncomfortable, and credit to the ref for taking the safe decision.
And I got to say, for Framesby's sake, I hope it's not serious, because he's been one of their key playmakers. He's been a catalyst to just about all of the flair that's brought them points in this tournament. No points in this game, unfortunately, but certainly based on that opening outing of theirs against the Green Machine, he was one of the guys who was certainly responsible for the spark and flair in the back line. And it does look like he has taken a whack on the head.
Absolutely, and credit to Framesby. They've carried on coming. They haven't dropped their heads. They've continued to run hard at the Kearsney defence, and he's definitely one of the players who's put his hand up as a leader in the squad.
John, I'm going to bounce this to you, because Kearsney are going to come away with the win here. They got Queens up in the final game, and that's going to be the match that brings down the curtain on this year's tournament. They'll take a lot of positives out of this.
100%, yes, definitely. I think especially the defensive effort by the boys. They've had an immense defensive effort. They've been camped in their own 22 for quite a large majority of the second half. Discipline has let them down a bit in the second half, which is something that they have wanted to work on. But going into the game, definitely, I think big kudos from here. Moving forward, positive.
And defense is one of the ways you measure a team. Individual moments of flair can produce you points, but if you want to see the patience and the discipline, it's often from that organised defense.
100%. It's also an effort thing. It's a heart. It shows the size of the heart to the sides. So I think they can hold their heads up high after today's effort.
How would this team assess defense? I mean, will you go back and watch the video and look how individually and collectively the guys have done?
I think definitely. Look at the video. Look at how look at how everyone sort of defends individually, but also as a team, sticking to the defensive structure and, building on the positives.
Good news, Jono. Kearsney have done enough to win this game. They're leading 23-0 with 5 minutes to go in the game. Scrum is 5 or 6 meters outside of the 22. Really good crowd here at Stotfield as the sun is shining. Don't let it deceive you if you're looking at this wonderful sunny picture. It's cold. It really is cold. Look carefully into the stands and you'll see that there are a lot of jackets on. In the open stand in this picture you'll see the shirt sleeves, but in the main stand it is still chilly. For the good folk who are up at Splashy Fen, it was 2 degrees this morning, so it's a chilly KZN. Kearsney running out of their own 22. 4 odd minutes to go in the game. Looking to try and add to the 23 points they've got. James Sutherland jinking left and right. Goes to ground onto one knee. Great little pass out of the back of the hand into Reese Daniels' hands. Some great flair being shown here into Dylan Richardson. Big man, so strong in the contact. Stays on his feet, loops the pass into contact over the top. Bundling forward is Tane Palsy. Tane Muirhead with the distribution. Could be a half gap opening here. Kearsney looking for points in the closing minutes of this match. They lead by 23-0 and they're not content with that scoreline. They'd like to stretch that out even further, but they're going to surrender possession on the ground. Matusi Shuping deciding they were holding on the ground, and that's going to be relief for the Framesby boys. 4 minutes. See what they've got in mind. It's going to be a tap and go. They want to play. In their language, let's jaw, let's play the ball.
Absolutely, carry on going. They're youngsters in the prime of their career for many of them, so they'll want to make the most of every minute on the field, yeah.
So Framesby hungry for an opportunity to redeem themselves and get points on the board. Not committing players to the breakdown. They've got a bunch of players looking for, and the ball is being kicked through. Here goes Dylan Richardson. Richardson, has he got the gas? Bobbles off his fingers. That really needed to land in the bread basket. He put a stretched left hand out there. Knocks it forward. Ref Shuping is going to call him back for the knock-on. It would have been spectacular if that had landed up in the big mitts of Dylan Richardson, because he was coming through hot.
It would have been, and I think the back line would have heard all about it all season if he had picked that up, collected and scored. But look, there's a bit of debate as what his best position is. Is he an 8 or is he a hooker? I personally think for his future, the front row is where his future lies. But when he's able to make a break and open play like that, then you can see why he's playing the number 8 jersey and offered a more loose role.
So Dylan Richardson packs down at the back of the scrum. First team captain here at Kearsney College. Penalty going the way of the Framesby boys, and ref Shuping is going to have a word. So just over 2 minutes left to run in the game. And Framesby sizing up their second defeat in the tournament this year. Very unlike them. They bring a fantastic rugby pedigree up from the Eastern Cape. They are fantastically welcome visitors to this tournament every year. Kicking out of their own 22. It's a long kick. It's not going to find touch. So here we have an opportunity with less than 2 minutes to go. Kearsney can mount an attack from deep inside their own half. Jinking left and right. There are players galore looking to get their hands on the ball, and it's the smallest of knock-ons. So frustration for the Kearsney boys. And an opportunity for Kearsney to look at what is going to be their best starting 15. They've rejigged their starting 15 over these 2 games, and they've had a good chance to run the rule over the talent they've got available at this stage. They'll probably look to be starting their number 1 15 up against the Queen's guys on Easter Monday on the final game. It's going to be the game that brings down the curtain on the tournament. But there's certainly a lot of depth and a lot of talent, and a lot for the Kearsney faithful, who are here in big numbers to get excited about with the season ahead. Free kick going the way of Framesby. There's a minute to go in the game. Framesby want to go. It's a quick tap from Gerber. Progress being made by Framesby. They're into the Kearsney half of the field. Gerber now looking down the blind side. Ball bounces out of the hands of Isak Mare. Just compounding the frustration which is evident all over this Framesby team. Guys throw everything into the contest here. Coming back for the penalty. Gerber, tap and go. Who wants to play? On his shoulder. Finds the big frame of Rickers Smith. Penalty once again to Framesby. Just seconds remaining in this match. Tap and go. They found their way into the two. Speculative pass into the hands of Kleinboy. It would have been just reward for them if he had managed to hang on to that for the last 3 meters. He was cantering towards the line. But that one does go forward. Seconds remain in the match. Clock on the scoreboard is going to count down to 0. Opportunity for a box kick exit strategy. Ball's going to find its way over the touchline. Referee Shooping says there's enough time left in this game to set up the line out. And he decides that is in fact not the case. Time has elapsed and something for the Kearsney faithful to cheer. They win this game against Framesby by 23-0.
And that's the final whistle. That kick brings down the curtain on this one.